So now let's move into the second emotional intelligence competency, self-management. Self-management can be summarized in 4 words: from compulsion to choice. So there's a story that, once upon a time in ancient China, there was a man riding on a horse, and the horse was like bouncing all around the road, and there was a man standing on the side of the road, and he said to the other man on the horse, "Where are you going?" And the man said, "I don't know, ask the horse." So this story gives us this sense that we sometimes, it's an analogy, of course, sometimes for our emotional lives, which can be controlling us and drawing us along, and we don't really know where our emotions are taking us. So Viktor Frankl was a early psychologist, and his quote regarding compulsion to choice was, "Between stimulus and response there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response, and in our response lies our growth and our freedom." So this is an extension of the insight we explored this morning, that there is this space and that we can access. And as we become more self-aware in each moment, we can choose our response. So, like I mentioned, the story of the man on the horse provides a metaphor for our emotional lives. But we can tame and guide the horse, and it begins with understanding the horse. Self-awareness. And once we understand it, we learn to communicate, and we can work with it skillfully. So self-management can be defined as the process of managing one's internal states, impulses, and resources. That's Daniel Goleman's definition. And so when we talk about self-management, we're building on self-awareness. And once we are aware of the quality of our internal states, then we have the ability to manage our states, our emotions, our internal life. And we can begin to work with emotional triggers and the stimuli driving different situations. So this self-management practice provides the choice to go from unbridled emotional reactivity to conscious responses that prevent harm, emotional harm to ourselves or harm to others, harm to our relationships. So self-management is not avoiding, denying, or suppressing. So we don't want to be avoiding distress. So we're not like stepping back from situations where we might feel painful emotions. And for example, a situation where a friend might be sharing bad news with you, or a doctor might be sharing some information. We're not avoiding those situations. And we're also not, like I said, denying our true feelings. So feelings carry valuable information. And if you deny or suppress them, you lose that information. Instead, it's about listening and tuning into those feelings and understanding them more, identifying information that they hold. And it's not about not having feelings, of course, as well. It's about becoming skillful to them. So, for example, there's a difference between anger that arises out of powerlessness and indignation that arises out of power.